Right, welcome ladies and gents, let's talk box office as we do here every single Sunday. We're going to take a look at Blue Beetle. It's not done very well. In fact, it's worse expectations, but better than the initial worst expectations. So, hey, take what you can get, I guess. And Strays, a movie which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And sadly hasn't done great, but it has had quite a small budget, so it's not as disastrous as kind of first thought. But still not great and quite surprising, but my hot prediction will be Strays may go well with legs. I think it'll have some good legs. So let's dive into this today, ladies and gents. Just as an FYI, Blue Beetle, have not seen it yet. I will get to watching that very, very soon and giving you my review, at least before Tuesday's Hcast, which is, of course, my podcast, if you didn't know. So let's take a look at this, ladies and gents. Hit subscribe if you are new here. And turn the bell notifications on to stay tuned for more. So yes, look, Blue Beetle had $25 million domestic. It's not great. It's not as bad as the $12 million it was initially predicted. So again, like I said, take what you can get. That's much better. But it's still not great. You know, it's the lowest of the year in terms of DC, right? So, Fury of the Gods did $30.1 million opening, and The Flash did $55 million opening. So, it's not great at all. $25 million, $27 million is not good. Quite worrying, actually. You know, the budget itself was $120 million. So the thing about this film is, again, we covered this on the Hcast, is that this film doesn't need to do particularly well. If it just does this, it's fine. You know, in terms of it being released on HBO Max, which is what it was going to be done, it was always intended to be a loss leader anyway. So it getting any money is beneficial for the studio in some regards, even if it loses money. And this isn't like hard cope from me. I don't think it's great anyway, but this was something which Tom, a panel member on my podcast, discussed, and I genuinely do see where he's coming from. It was always conceived to be a loss leader. It was never going to actually earn them any money at all, right? It was going to be on HBO Max, and then they decided to put it out to theatres. Now, that's obviously a calculated issue. Would they prefer to have, you know, profit? Yeah, of course they would, but they can write this down as tax. So this is an instant tax issue, you know, whereas having to do a write-down and actually lose content to save money in terms of accounting purposes, yeah, it's not, you know, it's again not great, but it's not bad either. But I think the larger thing here is in terms of DC, you know, it's DC as a property, as, you know, a sort of a franchise. It's not doing very, very well. And it seems whatever DC's releases now, people are just done with it. They have been done with it for some time. So, interesting stuff. Now, Strays, unfortunate. I thought Strays was really, really good. You know, like, it was really, 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 really decent. A very, very funny movie. Did 8.3 million dollars opening weekend. Not horrendous, just not great by any stretch of the imagination. Barbie, not taking the lead this week with $21.5 million. And Oppenheimer still in there with 10.6. So it's a pretty decent weekend overall. But not great in terms of numbers for each individual movie. Now it's interesting as well because Blue Beetle, they're blaming this SAG-AFTRA strike. That's not why. Warner Brothers kept the movie on track, and the marketplace is $25 million richer. It's not great, though, by any stretch. And after making $10 million on Friday, Blue Beetle eased 15% on Saturday for $8.5 million, which accounts for everything we always say here, is that these films are front-loaded. The people that want to go watch them will generally go watch them, and then that tapers off. And that's what this has happened here, you know. This is not a movie that will have particular legs. It just probably won't. It's not done particularly well. So according to ComScore, more kids returned to school on Friday, with those K-12 off at 46% versus the week prior, which was 70%. Intelligence reports 2 million admissions for Blue Beetle, wrapping 23% of the weekend's foot traffic versus Barbie, which pulled in 19%. I mean, fifth week, Barbie still pulling in 19%. And Blue Beetle couldn't even caught 25% of the market share. It does show that either interest in this property is bad, or just people were, they're not interested in DC in general. So Deadline asks, why the under-delivery here on Blue Beetle? Even at $30 million, that isn't a big enough start for this $125 million production. The movie gets a B+ cinema score overall, which explains it all. That's not good. It's not great. Under 18s on ComScore gave it an A. Grades were better on ComScore Screen Engine's post-track, where the movie gets a 90% with Latino and Hispanic moviegoers, which led the charge at 39% to Caucasians, 27% turnout, and 75% grade. So that's quite interesting. I mean, they courted the audience that they wanted. They got the audience that they wanted, which was the Hispanic and Latinos. But that wasn't big enough for them. So the result here for Blue Beetle isn't shocking next to other Latino and Hispanic field action picks, i.e. They keep saying Alita Battle Angel was a Hispanic and Latino action flick. Because Rosa Salazar was Alita? Really? I don't know. I mean, it was never painted as this is a Latino chick movie. It was never that bizarre. But that didn't have a great opening weekend either. Now, what are they trying to say about this? I wouldn't say it's anything major, but, the issue like this is that I think people are sick to death of DC in general because there's no clear direction. No one knows what the direction is. Should I go watch Blue Beetle because he's going to continue, or is this going to be one and done so I don't need to? What's going on here? It's all a bit out there now. So yeah, not great. Not great at all. And again, that Shazam Fury of the Gods. Shazam ended up like $125, $150 million overall or something like that. Not great. Not great at all. But let's talk about Strays, a movie which personally I think people should go watch. I think it was absolutely brilliant. Really, 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 really good. So, Strays. Now, it's a movie which they didn't have a great marketing campaign. Loads of people didn't really know that this movie existed. And I think the marketing campaign itself for Strays is not great either. But still, not horrendous. The $8.4 million opening weekend. But yeah, I mean, it was so funny. This movie, 100% people need to go watch it. It's a very, very good movie. So they say part of the problem here is that Universal has released a few family dog movies. Dog's Journey, Dog's Purpose. And the poster for Strays looked quite similar. Even the trailer appeared kid-friendly. Did it? Okay, never mind. Compounding the problems for Strays is that it didn't have any on-screen stars. Unlike Universal's other foul-mouthed talking Ted Bear movie, Ted, which had Mark Wahlberg. I don't think that's part of it. I just think people just don't realise that this is even a movie. Yeah, I just don't think people realise it's a movie, to be honest. But it's done pretty well. I mean, 56% guys in terms of its breakdown. 53% 18 to 34, 67% over 25, 46% Caucasian, 30% Hispanic and Latino, 13% Black, and 6% Asian. There's another wide release, blah, 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 and they're just like back on the strip, etc. These other movies, don't really care about. Nothing really interesting to go into. They did like Old Boy again, which is interesting. Surprised that got released. And Metallica as well. So there has been some other movies, but again, I guess toppling Barbie is Blue Beetle. And then unfortunately, coming in at 5th is Strays. Unfortunate. Really, really, really unfortunate. Total domestic now for Barbie is at $567.2 million. So it's done really, really well. It'll be interesting to see what happens moving forwards. Whether or not Barbie takes the lead next weekend, which it probably will actually, if you're looking at it like that. But Strays was fantastic. If I could recommend any movie to anyone, I mean, it's the only one I watched this weekend. But out of everything that's there, I can wholeheartedly recommend Strays. It was very, very good. It was very, very good. And this is the thing, right? This is why you know it's good. Audiences are barking about Strays as the convo tracks raucous and mixed. Comping to Sausage Pie is nothing like Sausage Pie. With nods for the film's originality, featuring foul-mouthed live-action dogs. Enthusiasts argue that it's about time the genre takes bold strides. The comedy was quite out there. Pushing boundaries and redefining comedic taste. Snarks question the nuances, debating whether it's genuine innovation or just a fleeting experiment. Regardless of its ultimate place amidst comedy, Strays has sparked a passionate debate. Any comedy that gets people talking, I say, is probably worth your time. And I think this movie is absolutely worth your time. And it's not just because I've got a border terrier myself. But anyway, ladies and gents, there you go. That is your weekly box office roundup. I will get out and watch Blue Beetle, mark my words. But thanks so much. Leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.